Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching and Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channels. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations and reviews of pro wrestling, both from modern day and from yesteryear. And so we try to do that as often as we can. We've got over 1,600 audios for your listening pleasure on a variety of topics. This is the August 9th edition of NXT from the year 2011. 2011, 2012, 2012 NXT starts to get better, but for about the next 40 episodes or so, it's still a slog to get through as they are still doing this elimination style goofiness, which marked the first 5 and 6 seasons of the program. Uh, Obviously, more issues between Darren Young and Matt Striker here, kind of bringing Matt Striker out of, I won't even say retirement, I would say inactivity, by by goading him into competition. Anyway, once again, TJ Wilson trying to assert that he is one of the best in the world because of his association with the Hart dynasty. Then we go to Justin Gabriel, who returns as an alumni of the process of NXT from an earlier season, which, when you think about it, the NXT thing starts less than 2 full years before, and yet is in season number 5. So kind of goofy there. Of course, early season's only 13 nature, and at this point, Gabriel has shown himself on both, I think, the Raw and SmackDown brands, primarily Raw though, at the time, to be pretty assertive. Beautiful wrestling there, kind of heads off with hip tosses attempted and basic stuff there. Um, Ultimately, we see T.J. Wilson with a side headlock takeover and other basic things. Hard shots by um, Justin Gabriel. Gabriel trying to keep things going according to his plan, and ultimately, again, hard shots, um, as it were. And again, hard shots by Gabriel, who manages to hit a couple of rough uppercuts there. Ultimately, springboard attempts and basic things there. Back kicks by Justin Gabriel, who manages to do everything he can, and a hard shot cut off by Tyson Kidd. Kidd with a leg drop across the, I guess you'd say, midsection or such, by off a springboard attempt. Match is relatively slow. Tyson Kidd, though, week by week, if you hadn't watched this particular version of NXT, or you aren't familiar with the time, or you weren't a fan at the time, become a fan in the last 10 years or so, worth going out of your way to see Tyson Kidd. Of course, Kidd now a producer for WWE, in part because of his paralysis at the hands of a Samoa Joe muscle buster from a few years ago, having gone wrong, and just shows you how dangerous wrestling can be. Both guys launched over the top rope and to the floor. Uh, then we see a drop kick to the outside, and ultimately doesn't get everything he wants, but does get enough. Spin wheel over the top rope and to the floor, and a continuation of the attempts trying to lock the man in, and doesn't get nearly what he would like to get in terms of a victory. Attempted choke out here by Justin Gabriel, who continues to be dominant on the mat. The mat wrestling here is also worth going out of your way to see if you are a guy trying to get signed. Just beautiful execution. Modified blue light thunder bomb here as well. And then we see Justin Gabriel make his way to the top rope on the inside, going for and executing the kind of I guess you'd say a top rope springboard, manages to get the 450 splash out of that and gets a victory there. Then we see Matt Striker and Darren Young go at it. Striker, of course, having been away from the ring at this point for over 4 years, is what has been said. Striker, of course, trained by Johnny Rodz. If you are a member of the High Spot Network, going out of your way to check out his shoot interview and just kind of get to know the guy behind the character is fun. Lucha style arm drags and other basic things. Takedown by Darren Young. Young manages to get a hard shot there in the corner. Doesn't get all he wants out of it, but gets enough. And then we see Matt Striker gets shoved off pretty aggressively here. We then see Darren Young kind of using the post as a weapon. Young and Striker manage to go around with each other a little bit on a bit more of a rowdy down. And again, we see the play of the day roll through and a 2 count there. Striker actually hooks the leg twice, which I love to see, in the sense that when you get that level of aggression about winning, the matches are better by default, and ultimately a forward into a gutbuster maneuver, and Darren Young gets a victory over Striker, which is good for Striker, bad for Young, but overall still pretty aggressive. More talk with Daniel Bryan and his pro Derek Bateman. Bateman continues to be, from a charisma standpoint, highlight of the program in this returning season. Titus O'Neil and Bateman have been going back and forth over the last several weeks of the season. Power by Young, better wrestling, and not to mention cheating by Bateman. Bateman trying to climb on the back of his opponent, and tries to choke him out with a inverted hammerlock and other basic things. Roll through into a crab. And ultimately a win for Titus O'Neil off of a bit of the modified sit out sky high, and a win for Titus O'Neil. We'll close this particular program. We'll be back with more right after this.